Hey everybody, Squee913 here. How's it going? I am putting this update up because I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on one of the biggest changes being made to Dragon Ball Z League during Season 2, and that is the idea of separating teams into divisions. What I'm going to do is explain what exactly that means, the disadvantages of it, and the reasons why I'm doing it, the advantages of it, and why I think it's a better move for the league. Alright, so first of all, sorry, you'll have to forgive me, my throat's a little dry. Now, what are divisions? What exactly am I doing? Well, as we know, in Season 2, there will be 16 teams, the 12 that we have now, and 4 new teams that you guys will be voting on in between the seasons. And this will give us enough to allow us to divide up into 4 divisions, North, South, East, and West. Of course, I could change the names, but that seems simple, easy. What does this mean? Well, in Season 1, we had just one ranking, one list, and the bottom 4 get dropped. And of course, we're still trying to decide who those bottom 4 are, but they get dropped, no ifs, ands, or buts, end of story, and then everyone moves on. Now, when we have 16 teams, things will change a little bit. The bottom 4 will get dropped. The top 12 will move on, but the top 4 will get a bye week in the playoffs, meaning they get to pass the first round and basically get a free win on that round and move on to round 2. That's the advantage of being one of the top ranked teams. Now, without divisions, it's very simple like this. You have the list, win-loss records, you have your top 4 teams, your bottom 4 teams, and that's it. The way divisions work is more like this right here. This is just an example. You have 4 groups of 4 teams, and the groups compete amongst themselves, meaning Team A, B, C, and D compete amongst themselves for a spot, and teams E, F, G, and H compete amongst themselves for a spot. Now, the win-loss records of these teams, the teams A, B, and C, don't really have much to in the way of affecting the teams E, F, G, and H. Now, as you can see, and what would happen is the top team of each division will not only move on to the playoffs, or let me put it this way. The top 3 teams of every division would move on to the playoffs. The bottom team of every division would get dropped. And the top team of every division would get the bye week. Now, as you can see, here's the one disadvantage. The top team of different divisions will have different rankings. Like, say, for example, the top team of North Division has a 6-6 record. The second team of South Division has a 7-5 record. That's technically a better win-loss record, but Team E still gets the bye week. Why? Because it was the top of its division. Conversely, Team G will move on to the playoffs even though it has a 4-8 ranking, which is worse than the bottom team in Team South, in Division South, which has a 5-7 win-loss record, but it'll still get dropped for the playoffs. Now, this seems like a huge disadvantage at first, because, well, this isn't the best team in the league, so why is it getting a bye week? And this isn't the worst team in the league, so why is it getting dropped? But bear with me and let me explain why I'm doing this and why I think it'll help. There are a lot of reasons. First of all, it adds more for the fans to care about. And what I mean by that is, quite simply, if you're not in the bottom 4 or the top 4, what do you care? If you're like the Saiyans, you know, like right here, you're 6-5, you're gonna make it to the playoffs. You're not really the top 4, you're not anywhere close to the bottom 4, so your ranking doesn't really matter to you. It's just lackluster. There's nothing there to care about. You're not in danger of getting out, and you're not really anywhere close to being a bye week, so you just don't care about your rankings. Well, if you're only going against 4 teams, either you're the top team the bottom team, or one step away from either one. So you're going to care every week what your ranking is and how that changes, and you're going to go, man, we're second, we're so close to being that first one and getting the bye week, or man, we're third, we're one step away from getting kicked out, we need to step up our game. So it really makes you care more about what rank you are. If you're not the bottom four or the top four, you know, what would you care otherwise? And it gives you more hope. Let's say, because let's be honest, folks, do we really think that the Ginyu Force season to season will be able to compete with, say, the Androids or the Buu? Maybe, but not likely. What you will see is, as the seasons progress, unless there's different coaches and completely different strategies and things like that, that as season 2, 3, 4 come along, that there will be consistently better teams and consistently worse teams. Just like in real sports leagues, you have better teams and worse teams. And my fear is that in a one division system like this, you will constantly see the same 4 teams dropped every season. And you'll constantly have, say, for example, again, let's go with the Super Saiyans. Where's your sense of threat? If you are always somewhere up near the top, somewhere near the middle, who cares? You know that you will always be better than those bottom 4 teams, so you don't really care. You know that you're just coasting till the playoffs. Well, I don't want that. I want every team to care about their standings, and in this system, they would. Why? Because there's no such thing as being mediocre or being in the middle of the rankings and just coasting straight to the playoffs. No, you're either one step away from the top or one step away from the bottom, and you will always care. You will never have that sense of safety like, oh, my team will make it no problem all the way to the playoffs. They always do. Or you won't have to worry about being at the bottom of the league every season. Let's face it, folks. Teams at the top of the league, Androids, Namek, Super Saiyans, they have more fans than teams at the bottom league. Ginyu Force, Valkyries, Earth Defenders. I mean, look, the Androids and the Super Saiyans, if you go to their forum, they have people debating all day on how to change their teams. They have more fans. Now, a lot of this, a part of this, is because people love winners. Now, I'm not saying everyone's like that. Don't come to me and say, I'm a fan of Team Buu or Team Android because of this, not because they're winners. I'm not talking about you guys. But it leaves something to be stated when teams like Team Android doesn't have any problem getting fans, and teams like the Ginyu Force has 1 or 2. Team Cold has no one except Claude Rebel coaching their team. And part of this is because people look at the rankings and they go, oh, that team stands no chance. I don't want to be with that team. Well, in this ranking system down here, the divisions, that team will always stand a chance. And it will hopefully draw more support towards the underdog teams. So here's my thinking, basically, is that by dividing teams up into divisions, yes, there's a chance that you may get situations like this where this is one of the bottom 4 teams and yet it moves on. This is nowhere near the top team yet it gets the bye week. I think the other side of that is that you will always care about what division what rank your team is. You won't see the same playoff year after year after year. There's a chance that if we go with this system, it'll be the same 12 teams every season, always in the playoffs, always. This will hopefully spice it up a little bit. Now, here's where I really want your insight. Of course, I want to know what you guys think about this idea, but I want you guys to think about it from a league as a whole. Don't just think, oh, this would hurt my team, so I'm against it, or this would help my team, so I'm for it. The biggest thing I hate is when someone ever accuses me of cheating for Team Earth Defender or something. Yes, they're my favorite. But if you know me, you know that I am constantly trying to find ways to make this league more even. I am constantly on the forums for teams I'm facing the next week, giving them advice, saying, hey, you know what, this is a throwaway week. This is a week you can try new things. Or, hey, you know what, maybe you should do this or that, because this is my baby. I want this to succeed. I don't want Earth Defenders just to win. That's not what I'm here for. And I want you guys to think the same way. I want you to think about the league as a whole, not just your team when it comes to this decision. More importantly, because I'm pretty sure I want to do this division. Now, if everyone goes, I hate this idea, maybe I'll go back against it. But I want to know how to generate the divisions, because there's 2 methods of thought. There's A, put the strongest teams in a division and the weaker teams in a division. Why? That way, the stronger teams still have to compete amongst themselves. They still have a challenge. They still have to worry about it. And the smaller teams, or the weaker teams, are competing in their league, so to speak. They don't have to compete with number 1 ranked teams. They just have to compete with the teams that were ranked around where they were. The problem with this is twofold. One, you'll have people that are in the top ranked teams complaining that they have a tougher division and that it was done on purpose and that's not fair, and I don't want people complaining. And we have 4 new teams coming in and we don't know how they're going to perform, so where do we put them? Do we put one new team in each division? Do we give them their own division and say this is the new division, all new teams go here? What do we do with that? How do we make it fair? The other idea is to randomly generate the divisions. And the only problem with this is, what if you get, a number 1 ranked team with like 3 bottom ranked teams, and they completely dominate their division season after season after season? These are all risks that we have to take, and I want to know what you guys think is the best choice. Is there a better way of doing this that I didn't think about? Go in the comments here, go in the forums, leave your thoughts. I really need to know, and I want to get this started now because I want people to have as much time as possible to debate this. And like I said, please think of the league as a whole, not just your team will be hurt or won. This isn't about teams. This is about how to have the most fun with this league. Alright, everyone, so get to the forums or just get to the comments and let me know what you're thinking. Alright, guys, and I will see you later.